Good morning and welcome to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It's a Friday edition, folks, and we got a good one for you. We're going to be joined here shortly by Svein Dyrkolbotn, former Gator Hooper, and big offensive lineman Donnie Young. Some news and notes around the world of sports. Obviously, there's only one sporting event going on, and that's the PGA Tour at the Travelers Championship up in Connecticut. Mackenzie Hughes shoots a 60, has a 3-shot lead over Xander Schauffele, Roy McIlroy, and the Norwegian Victor Hovland. And we're now going to be joined on the Titan MRI hotline by a Gator from Norway, Svein Dyrkolbotn. Good morning, Svein. How are you, my man?
Good morning. How are you?
Doing great. Just so everybody knows, Svein played on the 94 Final Four team here under Lon Kruger. Let's go back. You're from Norway.
Correct.
When did you start playing basketball as a youngster over there? Did you play any other sports growing up?
Obviously, soccer is probably the primary summer sports over there, and every kid played soccer when we grew up. But basketball started getting popular when I was in 6th grade. We started playing in school, and then when I got into 6th and 7th grade, they started club teams over there. It was a very new sport, and it was right around the Michael Jordan days and Magic Johnson when they started getting to be the stars. And played through high school over there. And since I was 6'8" and tall, I was kind of one of the select few that could manage to put it in the hoop over there, I guess. And ended up on the national team in Norway. And my coach, which was from America, suggested that I should maybe look to expand the competition a little bit, and that's how we started looking at coming over here to America. So,
yeah, you played, as you mentioned, on the Norwegian national team, and then you decided to go to Oak Hall, which is a private school here in Gainesville. What made you choose to go to Oak Hall?
Well, actually, when I decided to go over, it was a network of coaches. My national team coach knew another American that coached the Swedish national team. And through a network of coaches, I actually ended up here in Gainesville. And I really didn't know a whole lot about Oak Hall, didn't pick the school. The coach at Oak Hall asked some of the players one day if they wanted to host a Norwegian exchange student. And a very, very nice family that's kind of become my American family here in Gainesville hosted me. They live out in Newberry, and I spent my first year in America out there on a big farm and played for Oak Hall. And that's when I got recruited by Lon Kruger and got to become a Gator. So,
before we talk about being recruited by Lon and playing there, I got to ask you, what was it like moving to a new country, living with people you had no idea who they were? How difficult was that transition?
It was not easy. If you ask my mom, when she was a little nervous when she put me on the plane, I had no idea where I was ending up. But that again, I couldn't have asked for a better family to meet, and they took me in very, very quickly, and we connected, in short time. So they certainly made it easy. But yeah, it was a little nerve-wracking. But initially, I was supposed to come over here and spend 1 year, and my plan was to go back to Norway and finish the Norwegian high school and probably play in Europe. But that obviously changed a lot. So
yeah. So when you your last year at Oak Hall, was there any other opportunities at different schools, colleges that you may have chosen, or was you going to say, look, I'm going to go play at Florida. I've lived in this little town. I don't want to go to a new town, have to, meet new people. Was it Florida all the way?
In my mind, yes, it was Florida all the way. But I did get some other offers. I went on, a trip to USF and up to Wake Forest and some of the schools. But I didn't pursue a whole lot of schools, but I kind of knew that I wanted to stay here in Gainesville. And part of that was I over the first year, I worked up a network of friends and what I consider families. It was kind of an easy decision. So.
We got a Facebook Live question here for you, brought to you by Melvin Law, where you matter most. Jeff wants to know, is there a Gator Nation presence over in Norway?
It probably created by that I went to UF. I don't know if it's bigger than that, but my brother lives in Lillehammer. He came over here my junior year and spent actually a year at UF, and met another Gator, and they got married. And so we have one over in Lillehammer. They're married, living over there. But I don't know if any big group of them over there. But so.
Well, let's talk about, you come to the University of Florida, and you're part of the first ever team in the history of Gator basketball to get to go play in the Final Four. Talk a little bit about that year, how special it was, and I mean, gosh, that's every kid's dream playing college basketball is to make it to the Final Four.
Yeah, and I think, I mean, all from the coaches to the players, a lot led up to that season. We're lucky. Our team was lucky enough to go on several trips. We went to Hawaii together and played some games over there, and we went to Australia together, and it was really good bonding trips. And so we got really close. And what I remember the most is how we were a real true team. There was no one on the team that was playing individually, and I think that was the credit to that also obviously was the coaching staff. So I don't think that any of us went into the season thinking that we were going to go that far into it, but it was a really great experience for all of us. So.
Yeah, so some of the guys on that team, obviously Dan Cross lives in Orlando. Craig Brown is part of the NBA overseas, I believe. Demeet Hook, I've had him on my show. I think he's in the St. Pete area somewhere down there. DeClerc's in Orlando. Do you keep in contact with those guys or see them when they come to Gainesville?
It's hard. You start your family. I talked to Andrew about this too. I mean, he's got kids and I got kids, and when you have three of them, you kind of get in a different direction. But we were really fortunate. We had our Final Four reunion, and all but maybe 2 or 3 showed up. I think we were missing Clayton Bates and Jason Anderson, Marty Kwiesma, and they were all over the world. But I think Clayton was coaching that day. But it was good to see everyone, and yeah, we are very close, but probably don't get enough, together enough, close as we are. But
we're speaking with Svein Dyrkolbotn on the Titan MR hotline. Okay, so who came up with the nickname the Norwegian Collegian?
I think that was Mick Hubert that got tired of mispronouncing my name, I think. But he also had another one, was the eye chart. So, but yeah, the Norwegian Collegian kind of stuck. So, but that was him. So.
I don't know how much you watch college basketball because I know you're a busy man with kids, family, and all your businesses and stuff. How has the game, in your opinion, changed so much from when you played in the 90s to how it's played now?
Right. It's actually funny because when I grew up in Norway, and this goes for Marty Kwiesma too, the big guys, the 6'8", 6'10" guys, we love to dribble and shoot 3-pointers and kind of dreamt about being the point guard. And when we came over here, I think the style of play during my career was more structured. You had the big guys underneath, and your point guarding, shooting guards, and it was more kind of power underneath the baskets. So I feel like maybe going into the Billy Donovan years, his style of play was more the European style of play, where everyone was dribbling, everyone was shooting if they're open. And so I think that a little faster paced, and if you're open, shoot type mentality, no matter which, player you are, So, but I think we were definitely focused on running plays and getting the ball underneath and back out type play. But I think the pace is, I don't think any of us could keep up with the pace today. They're going really fast today. So.
Yeah. Talk a little bit about Lon Kruger. He was a tremendous athlete, when he was in college, been a great basketball coach, toyed with the NBA a little bit, but, he's doing great at Oklahoma right now. He went to UNLV, did some things there. He's taking a bunch of teams to the NCAA tournament. Yeah. What was it like playing for Lon Kruger?
I mean, Lon Kruger was just, great coach, for our team. And I've had the opportunity to see him a couple of times down in Battle of the Atlantis. We've been going down there when he's playing down there, and I think it's amazing what he's done with many teams. I mean, you see coaches who's with one team and then they make a move and they can't make it happen again with another team. But he seems to have been able to do great things with all of them. So, but I really appreciate him, not just as a coach on the court, but what he taught us in life, and it's really helped me personally with the direction where I've gone. So, really great guy. So,
Shane, what would you say some of the best memories that you had at UF? What are those?
it's definitely, it's hard to not focus on the ones that was great about being an athlete, but I think obviously coming back from Miami when we won won over Connecticut to go into the Final Four, and the people that was standing there at the airport, I think in the middle of the night, waiting for us to come back, and the hype around that was definitely one that sticks in my mind. And um, probably shouldn't mention it on this show, but there's many memories in Yon Hall where we lived.
I'll tell you, man, the things that happened in Yacht Hall, it was crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, but there's definitely lots of great memories. I think from where I came from and kind of the journey that I've been on, I've been very blessed with everything. So,
Celebration Point's where the Gators come to celebrate with premium brands like Bass Pro Shop, Tommy Hilfiger, Hotel Indigo, Nike, Medici's, Regal Cinemas, and coming soon, the HBC's new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill, and Visor's Rooftop Bar. We will see you at Celebration Point where the Gators come to celebrate. And speaking of Celebration Point, we were looking at the man that developed Celebration Point and started it. And we want to appreciate you sponsoring the show, Svein.
yeah.
But talk to me and the Gator Nation about why you wanted to develop a place like Celebration Point here in Gainesville.
Yeah, I mean, going all the way back to when I got this property under contract and started looking at it, I didn't really envision it being this, because I went in very early on. I was with a family, that my host family, I was developing and building multifamily apartments, and this was kind of going to be my first big project with multiple hundreds of units. But 5 years later, taking it through the county during the recession and many reasons, I was able to get entitlements for a big mixed use project. So when we got that, the vision changed, and really got involved with some consultants that said that there's something missing in Gainesville, and that is a place to be entertained and just a place to gather and enjoy. And so we started looking at what we could do with entertainment kind of as the main focus. So we were able to land Bass Pro and Regal and some of the restaurants, and the vision kind of transformed a little bit over time. But right now, I think it will be a place where we can have large events, and our goal is that it will be a place where people can, on a Friday afternoon, and they don't know exactly what they want to do, this is the place they can go and find something to do, not necessarily have to think about it. There's always something going on, and always somewhere to eat, and movies, and Dave and Buster's will be open there. That's a great entertainment place. So it's really, it stemmed from a little bit back when Donovan took a couple of teams through to the national championship, and we kind of felt like University Avenue, with the students celebrating, maybe we should have a place where kind of the families and the more mature could celebrate as well, and that's kind of what's the vision. So
Yeah, you got cinemas there, as you mentioned. Dave Buster's is coming in. I think also I heard where you're going to have one of those escape room type deals going on.
that's right. Yeah.
Should be a lot of fun for a lot of people, right?
Yeah. No, the goal is to have places where people can go and eat and enjoy and hang out. We have a part of our project you can't access with cars, so we see a lot of families out there when we have concerts with little kids running around, and that's great to see. So
So you're a partner also with the head ball coach in his new restaurant, Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. Talk a little bit about how you're excited for that restaurant. I think it's going to open probably next spring with everything going on now. But
yeah.
he's a different dude. He's a different character. How's it working with the head ball coach?
Well, I remember him days when I played basketball, so it was good to see him again. But it was basically started with that. I think that he had a vision of maybe having a place where he could, show off some of his trophies and some of his history, and we partnered up with him, and it, obviously turning out to be a pretty large restaurant with a rooftop, and it's really building on a great name in the community. He's obviously an icon around here, and but it fits in with the project. I think that with the name and our vision of having events and having places where people can go and celebrate, I think it's a great fit. So really looking forward to getting that one open. So.
Yeah, no doubt. Also, there's talk about like a sports type center being built around Celebration Point, where you can have volleyball tournaments, things, basketball tournaments, things like that.
Yeah.
How's that coming along?
So that's something that when the county or when the Gators renovated their state basketball arena, the county lost out on some floor space and opportunities to have regional events. So they've been looking to build a replacement facility, and 3-year history kind of summed up quickly. They hired some consultants that identified that they needed to be closer to highways and restaurants and hotels. So they've been talking to us. Obviously, those paused a little bit during the times we're going through now, but we're in discussions. We're hoping that we can land them there, and I think that also will fit in well with everything that we're doing to bring sports in there. That's mainly focused on track basketball and volleyball. So, but there'll be other events as well. So.
And I assume your major at UF was building construction.
Actually, I'm a civil engineer, so
Civil engineer.
I
Okay.
also have a contractor's license. So those are the two. So, but
Well, you do wonderful things here in the Gainesville community. Talk a little bit about, I know you're involved with a lot of charitable events as well. What are some that are very close to your heart?
well, due to some of the people that I work with and kind of supported them, we've done a lot for the Child Advocacy Center, but anything that we can do out in the project, there's been a host of different charities we've done. We do a lot of donations when we have events, and we try not to pick one particular one. We like everyone to get an opportunity and be able to help a lot of different charities, but that's one that kind of has been a little in the focus, and that's tied to some connections we have with the work, but they've been able to help them a lot. So.
We got a couple of Facebook Live comments here brought to you by Belden Law, where you matter most. Todd says Celebration Point is the place to be. Lots of fun. Brian also says Svein is always very approachable and kind. So glad he decided to stay in Gainesville. Last couple of things for you here, Svein. Like I said, you're a busy man, but I know you have to either attend some Gator basketball games, watch them on TV. Talk a little bit about what you think Mike White is doing with the program here at Florida.
Yeah, no, I think he's doing a great job. I mean, I think they're today with kind of the mentality a little bit with players that just want to go straight to the NBA, it may be harder to build a complete team. I think back like when I played, there was more ingredients for taking a team all the way through for 4 years, and I think that might be some of the challenges he's got is get great talent in, but maybe they have their own vision in 1 year and go on, and it's harder to build some on that. But I mean, I think he's a great coach, very approachable too, and always takes time to talk to us, and it's great to come back and watch him play. So I don't
Okay.
make it to enough games though.
Yeah,
I
I
have
hear
kids, and I wish I could see more games, but that sometimes takes priority. So
Yeah. Last thing for you, I got to ask you this. I want to say you played against Shaq, right, at LSU?
Yeah, I did.
So let everybody know, how many times did Shaq dunk on you, or how many times did you dunk on Shaq?
Well, like the last one I can answer really easy. That's 0. But I don't remember if he dunked on Andrew and I during that game or not. I got to go back and revisit the tape, but I do remember that we looked in the little roster and they listed him at like 7'1", 280, and there's no way he weighed 280 back then. He had at least another 60 pounds on him, but I do remember beginning of the game when Andrew threw up the first shot from about 10 feet out, and I think he had been told to block it no matter what happened. So he sent it up in the second stands, and it was a big time goaltending, but it was the start of the game. So
Well, we appreciate you taking the time today, Svein, to join us. I love Celebration Point, what you're doing there. Can't wait for Coach Spurrier's restaurant to open up. Keep plugging away, my man, and we appreciate you joining us today.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
That's Svein Dyrkolbotn joining us on the Titan MRI hotline. Refresh your vehicle and your brand with a vehicle wrap from Wrap Spot. June is your lucky month at Wrap Spot. Mention promo code Shane and receive 13% off your vehicle wrap. Visit them at wrapspot.com today. We're going to take our first time out of the program. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Big Donnie Young, former offensive lineman here on the national championship team. You're watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
Time out. There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. The Best Restoration, Masters of Disasters. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator fans' first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, The Digital Mortgage Guy, Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Center State Bank, Gator Bait Media, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Gators Dockside, Aikido America Martial Arts and After School,
Doreen Weeby Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish,
Radware, Wrap Spot,
and Style Cuts.
If you are interested in promoting your business on this show, you can visit our website, podupwithshane.com, and click on the advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
He's looking, still looking. He's going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown.
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. At Center State Bank, we put business first. We're the largest community bank in the state of Florida. Center State has 5 convenient Alachua County locations to serve you better. Come in and experience the Center State difference. To learn more, visit centerstatebank.com. Center State Bank member, FDIC. We also want to thank our man at Peachland Dentistry, Gator Nation's #1 choice of dentistry in Port Charlotte and surrounding areas, for taking time to sponsor our show as well. Now we're going to go to the Titan MR hotline. We're joined by national champion offensive lineman, Big Donnie Young. Good morning, Donnie. How are you, bud?
Good morning, Shane. How are you?
Good. Are you on some fishing trip today or something? Where are you going?
No, actually, I'm headed down the highway, just working, just keeping the roads hot, brother.
All right, good deal. We won't keep you long. Hey, Donnie, let's go back to your days growing up in Venice. You're a big dude coming out of Venice High School. Were you only strictly a football player? Did you wrestle or do anything else down there?
Nah, I did a little bit of everything. Track, shot and discus,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. weightlifting team. Shoot, even did a little bit of cheerleading, brother.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. I did not know that. That's a great. Love it. I love it. So when you were being recruited for football, obviously you knew that's what you were going to do at the next level. Did you grow up a Gator fan, or were there any ideas of Donnie Young playing football somewhere else other than the Florida Gators?
You know, I'll be honest with you. I verbally committed to go play for Auburn. I really like Pat Dye. What a great guy. He's actually the reason why I came to Florida. You know, we would go up and play in Auburn. Really, let me back up a little bit. My high school football coach, you know, played at Auburn, and several other athletes that left Venice went to Auburn. They kind of had a pipeline there. I really connected with Coach Dye, and but you know, the whole Eric Ramsey deal came down my senior year, and he actually met me at my house. You know, back then we didn't have telephones; we had two-way radios, and so they, you know, my dad called me on the radio after I got out of school after workouts and told me, you know, he normally told me where I needed to go work on the farm or wherever, and he said, no, you need to come to the house, which was really unusual. I came home and there was Coach Dye sitting on the couch, and he explained the whole Eric Ramsey deal. He told me that he wouldn't be at, you know, probably wouldn't be at Auburn very much longer. And he said, but there's a ball coach, a real good ball coach up there in Gainesville. He said, I think if you're going to stay in Florida, that's the place you need to go.
Wow.
And I really took his advice, to be honest with you.
That's crazy. I don't know if I've ever heard of a college coach saying something like that to a young man. So, you know, you come to the University of Florida. Obviously, your 92 class had some really good players. You know, it was Reggie Green, Jason Odom, yourself, Werfel, and there's plenty others. It was my senior year.
Yeah.
You know, talk a little bit about, you know, do you stay in touch with those guys from that class?
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, not as well as I should. Like, you know, like most of us. I mean, I basically am a Facebook voyeur. You know, just kind of seeing what's going on with them. I really have no business, you know, messing around on Facebook too much. But just kind of looking at what they do and, you know, how they're doing, and you know, but you know, I mean, I do talk to Jason, Jeff, Bart Edmondson from time to time. You know, everybody's schedules are so busy, brother. You know how it is. I mean, you know, when you're in the same room with everybody again, it's like you didn't even miss a beat.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So talk a little bit about, you know, on that 95 team was so good, Donnie. Y'all were so good on the offensive. Talk a little bit about what y'all learned about yourselves and what y'all did differently after the Nebraska game, getting ready for the 96 year.
Well, I think, you know, it was prior proper planning. You know, obviously we went in, thought we had a really good game plan. Really kind of fell apart on us. You know, the offense really, we you know, we're at fault for a lot of it because we left our defense on the field entirely too much. And you know, and I say that's probably the best team at Florida that I played on. You know, that 95 team was just, you know, I've said this before, as I say, the 95 team, you know, if it competed against the 96 team would beat it, you know, would beat the 96 team probably 9 out of 10 times. That team was so talented. But, you know, I just feel like, you know, we just learned that, really, you know, we can't block 4 from the weak, brother. And that's where, you know, I mean, it's really a simple scheme. And, you know, it was, you know, when you're in, you know, what, as you know, Tiger, you know, you have nobody back there to protect you, you know, and they were counting on the fact that, they could get there before we could get the ball off. And you can only take, you know, so many hits before you start floating them. And we're 3 and out. And, it really created you know, a mismatch, you know, when you had the strength of, you know, offense that Nebraska had against our, you know, just, you know, was able to wear us down defensively. You know, I mean, it wasn't fair to our defense.
Donnie, you
Yeah.
you won the Jacobs Blocking Trophy, which is best offensive lineman in the SEC. What did that mean to you when you won that award?
You know, I really didn't understand the caliber of it when I won it. I know, you don't really think about it. I mean, you take most of those accolades with a grain of salt because there's so many different, great athletes, that play in the SEC every year. Especially offensive linemen, when you think about, the number of great offensive linemen that's come out of the SEC. Like I always, it's like the championship rings and all that kind of stuff. I don't have any of that. I give all that to my dad. That stuff is going to mean more to, my kids and, my family in the future. Did I accomplish those things? To me, it was, it was a great honor. And I don't know if I really still understand the magnitude of it, to be honest with you. It's just, we had a job to do. We went out and done it to the best of our abilities. And if we won any awards, hey, that was great. But there's so many people that were, really honestly could have gotten that award.
Yeah, we're speaking with Donnie Young here, big number 75 on the national championship team on the Titan MR hotline. Donnie, I would argue with anybody that you're maybe one of the strongest human beings that ever have come and played football here at the University of Florida. Is that just something, I know you worked on a farm as a youngster down in Venice, but how in the world did you get so strong, you think?
It was just natural. I mean, it was just, with my, I don't know if it's just from working, like we did when we was younger. And, it's just like in, high school, first time, you touch a weight, you bench press, close to 300 pounds, it's just, I never put a bar on my chest in my life. And, as a freshman, you're coming into freshman football and, I don't know. It was just natural. I just think that, then you put that ability on top, you put that work ethic on top of it, and it, you have the, you have almost a perfect, recipe for crazy strength. And I was just blessed. This is one of those God-given abilities.
What was the most you ever bench pressed?
I never did a 1 rep max. As I got, through Florida, I kind of got a little nervous, because when you see the amount of weight on a bar, it's just, you're one step away from tearing a muscle or something like that, and it could be all over. I did, the most I ever did, I did 4 reps with 605.
Oh.
And then put it in the rack, and then for 15 seconds, and did 4 more reps. And the only reason why I did that is because I was scared to death that I was going to tear a shoulder. And I would do rep outs with at the end of my workout with 315 until I could no longer pick up the bar. But I don't know, Shane. Like I said, it was. And I think that's, caused me a lot of problems, later in my career, lifting so heavy, there was no need in it. My shoulders, I've had 4 shoulder operations, and it really kind of crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, it really is. Okay. So in 92, Richmond George was the offensive line coach your freshman year. He takes a job in the NFL. They bring in Jimmy Ray Stevens. What was it like playing for Jimmy Ray?
Coach Stevens I learned so much from him, obviously, as a player. Really, you come in and we all think we know a lot about football. But, we realize that all, offensive line, the offense as a whole is like a choreographed dance. Everybody has a step, an initial step, a second step. You just realize the real fundamentals of the game, and he really brought that to light for all of us, I think. And it's, he was a great coach, and I think that, even though some of the other coaches I played under, I don't think I learned near as much as I did under Jimmy Ray.
Donnie, once you left the
I know I
university,
did.
yeah, once you left the university, you had, with the Broncos, what have you, injuries plagued your career, but you went over in NFL Europe and were outstanding over there. Did you enjoy playing over there?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was kind of like back playing, college, and that was the year that the XFL, the first time the XFL, we all got allocated over. Anybody who was in second team, so it was basically like playing NFL. Because a lot of players were it was all allocated players because they wanted to keep the league alive. Because the XFL pulled players out of NFL Europe, and so we had a blast. I mean, it really was a lot of fun. It was pretty memorable. But yeah, going over there, that was quite an honor. I would have never probably went to Europe for any other reason. It was cool to see the countries and realize how wonderful America really is after you spend time over there.
Back to your college playing days, a lot of people always want to know, especially from linemen, was there one guy when you're getting ready for a season or a week preparing for a team, was that one defensive tackle or nose guard or whomever that you just were like, man, this dude is a really good player. I don't feel like playing against him this week. Is there anyone that in your college career that you faced that you just like, man, I don't really want to play him this week?
Shane, it's funny. I get asked that quite often, and I always tell everybody straight up, I never feared or was concerned about another player that I played against, because our practices were so intense. Week in and week out, or day in and day out, week in and week out, we butted heads with some of the best defensive linemen in the country. We had some of the biggest battles between myself and Ellis Johnson, day in and day out. I mean, Kevin Carter was next to him. I mean, you look at all the, Henry McMillan's, the Shabas, Johnny Churches, all the different great guys that we played against, practices when you went to game time, it was like, oh my gosh, you just went out there and tore people's heads off.
Mm-hmm. You've had how many surgeries, Donnie?
I think I'm at 16.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a lot of surgeries. So once you were done with your professional career, you came back to Gainesville. You had some businesses. I believe it was Apartment Hunters. You've had a white deer farm. What else you got going on these days?
I still do. I still got shopping centers. Everything I do is really with family. I do that with my father-in-law. My shopping centers, the ranch is with my father. We do that together. And also sales rep as well for Suburban Propane. And that's actually what I'm doing now, driving up and down the road. I left my father's house. I stayed with him last night, and my mom and dad's house. And, I'm headed up to an account in Tampa, and I'll be in Gainesville tonight, and been gone since Monday. So yeah, I mean, I do a little bit of everything. It's just we just keep grinding and keep paying the bills and keeping those monsters off our back.
Yeah, I know. Initially, you and Doug Johnson both had the fishing tournament for the Boys and Girls Clubs. I know Doug just does it by himself now. But what made you guys start that tournament?
Oh man, Doug actually started it. I got involved. I was involved with him right from Jump Street. Going to it and being but to be honest, Freddie Weeby, obviously Freddie well. His program knows him well, but he come to me and asked me if I would help. Doug and Dougie and I got together and was talking and we decided, our love for the outdoors and wanting to do something for the kids, in the community, giving back. It was an opportunity, a huge platform for us to somebody in our lives, in our lives and all of the athletes' lives, went out of their way to help us. And, if you can change one kid's life, you've made a difference. But if you have a larger platform and you can change multiple kids' lives, man, that's pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no doubt about it. A couple more minutes here with Donnie Young on the Titan Moore Hotline. Donnie, let's go back to, I guess, 96. You lose to Florida State. A lot of good things happen. You get an opportunity to play them again for the national title. I want to talk to you about, as an offensive lineman, because you guys take pride in protecting your quarterback, and obviously you protected the best one that's ever played here, in my opinion. But talk a little bit of how much you got pissed off, and not only you, but the rest of those offensive linemen, when FSU was taking all those cheap shots at Danny.
Well, we take that. That's obviously you you take that to heart, because it's the last thing you want to do is get one of your fellow teammates hurt. But we had some real problems, with Zach Piller getting hurt, Jeff Mitchell getting hurt, Mo Collins, at the time had a little incident with ticketing issue. So we were pretty thin at that first, the first game that we played there in Tallahassee, which was, we had them covered. We really, we missed 4 field goals, had, a couple touchdowns fall back on us, but all that aside, we lost, I'm not going to make any excuses, but we knew going into that, into the Sugar Bowl that we, Mo was back, Zach was back. We honestly, we knew that we had one job to do and one job only, and that was to go and just, just go wear them out. And that's, that's not what I want to say, but that's what, what we had to go in and do, and we had to control the game. And we did that from Jump Street. And we just didn't want to win. We wanted to beat them. And that's what we did.
Would you say that is the best moment you had as a Florida Gator, beating those guys the way y'all did in 96?
It was certainly one of the best moments, but gosh, Shane, just there's so many great moments, throughout your, any of our careers, it's hard, every one of those SECs were well earned, it's all hard work, all those winter workouts, the summer workouts, they're all very, very special. But again, I think you can take all that away from me, all the material things. It's my relationship with my teammates that means the most, and probably the thing I miss the most.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, Donnie, I'm trying to remember. Y'all were a big offensive line back in those days. What was the most you ever played at Florida, weight-wise?
Well, I was probably at my heaviest. I was, probably 315 max. Coach always got real funny when you got over 300 pounds, and he'd always ask me how much I weighed. Coach, 299. Every once in a while, he'd try to get you on the scale, but yeah, I did around 315 most of the time, 310 really.
It's amazing these days how big these offensive linemen are in the SEC. Crazy how big they are.
Oh yeah, that's one reason why they brought me to Denver, is because it was, my size and speed. But when I was, in Denver, I was certainly on the lower end of average, and you got guys in the league, the Basellis and Ogdens and Orlando Paces and just monsters. Those guys are huge.
Yeah, there's some big guys. It's scary how big they are and how they can move these days.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We got to hear some. I have all former players tell some good head ball coach stories.
Mine's a little bit different, but we, like I was talking about our battles in practice and everything. One day, Ellis and I, we were doing one-on-one pass pro, and Ellis's hand slipped off my chest plate as he's trying to, bull rush me, and his hand slipped up underneath my face mask and kind of jacked my helmet up, and I turned around and threw my helmet on the ground, and I didn't know Coach Spurrier was standing back there, and my helmet, exploded, and the ear pads and all the padding inside the helmet bounced over, and I guess, brushed Coach or hit Coach or whatever. And he left he just took off walking. I didn't even realize it had happened because my eyes were watering from my chin strap being up around my nose, and Coach, everybody's telling me what happened. And of course I had some choice words, and next day I come in the locker room and there was a note for me to go up and see Coach, from Nancy. And I go upstairs and she said, "Oh yeah, Coach is in there already. He wants to talk to you." So I go in there and shut the door, and he says, "Donnie," he said, when you get mad like that, he said, "Don't throw the helmet in my direction." He said, "Throw it towards Jimmy Ray or somebody like that." And I wasn't aiming at him or nothing, but I guess the helmet went in his direction. And he said, "Don't say those bad words." He said, just say your normal ones. Just say your normal cuss words.
Yeah.
That's just
3 cuss
typical
words.
Coach.
I always say, remember those? Oh, that was.
Oh yeah, I know him well. I know him well. I still hear it in my head. And first of the season, you went through. Sorry, just let an ambulance go by, but he always made sure that everybody knew those 3 words. You could say those anytime you wanted to, but just don't drop the F-bomb.
Yeah, and sometimes the F-bomb, he'd drop the F-bomb at his quarterbacks for sure. Well, Donnie, man, we appreciate you. I love that. Don't throw your helmet at me. Throw it at Jimmy Ray. That's great.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, hey, we appreciate you taking the time, joining us today. I know you're a busy man. It's always great to hear. I love talking to the big offensive linemen. Be safe, my man. Hope you and your family are doing well.
Yes, man. Yes, everybody. You be good, and thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. That's Donnie Young, big number 75. Join us on the Titan MR hotline. We're going to take our second time out of the program. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up. You've been watching and listening to Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. We'll be right back.
Time out! Time out! Hey! Time out! Time out! Time out! There we go. Good.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills.
Let's give them something to cheer for now.
Our gridiron sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. Titan MRI, Gainesville's only locally owned and operated MRI facility. The Best Restoration, Masters of Disasters. Meldon Law, where you matter most. Peachland Dental, Gator fans' first choice for dentistry in Port Charlotte. Our touchdown sponsors are Campus USA Credit Union, Celebration Point Town Center, The Digital Mortgage Guy, Adams Ribs, Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Center State Bank, Gator Bait Media, Davis Gainesville Chevrolet, Miapa Latin Cafe, Gators Dockside, Aikido America Martial Arts and After School,
Doreen Weeby Realtor, Caldwell Banker MM Parish,
Radware, Wrap Spot,
and Style Cuts.
If you are interested in promoting your business on this show, you can visit our website, podupwithshane.com, and click on the Advertise button or call Freddie at 352-284-3733. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
He's looking, still looking. He's going for the end zone. He's got a touchdown!
Welcome back to a Friday edition of Pod Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Large enough to serve you, small enough to care. This Day in Sports is brought to you by the Best Restoration. Do you have COVID-19 concerns? Do what everyone is doing and hire the Best Restoration to fully sanitize and sterilize your home or office. Visit their offices this week for a free bottle of hand sanitizer when you mention the code Shane. Call them at 352-234-8994. This Day in Sports, back in 2003, the NBA draft, some dude from St. Vincent, St. Mary High School in Akron, Ohio, by the name of LeBron James, was the first pick by the Cleveland Cavaliers, 2003. Hard to believe. But that's brought to you by the Best Restoration. Want to really thank Svein Dyrkolbotn, who has developed Celebration Point here in Gainesville, a great place. If you haven't been there, go check it out. They're going to be adding stuff. Coach Spurrier's restaurant will be opening there soon. Appreciate him joining the show, taking time out of his busy schedule, and big offensive lineman Donnie Young joined us as well. Folks, I'm going to give you a rundown of next week's lineup, what we got on the program. We got a good one. We're going to kick the week off with Kevin O'Sullivan, Gator baseball coach, along with Bob Redmond, talking Gator football recruiting. On Tuesday, Mark Brunell, former Jaguar, played at the University of Washington. He and I came out the same year. Good buddy of mine. He'll be joining us along with Buddy Martin on Tuesday as usual. And then Wednesday, it's kind of going to be a neat show. We're going to have Drew Copeland from Sister Hazel joining us, along with JC coming back, going to talk a little sports with us. On Thursday, we're going to have Nathan Whitaker, play for Coach Spurrier up at Duke, but he's written Tony Dungy's books, and Terry Norvell from College Sports Today. And then we're going to end the week with a buddy of mine, Ben Garrett, who covers the Ole Miss Rebels, writes for the Ole Miss Spirit. Just talk about the landscape of what Lane Kiffin and his program is doing up there, and also all the stuff going on with the state flag in Mississippi. And Noah Brandeis, former quarterback, and also former coach with the head ball coach. So he will have some great stories for us. But we want to make sure we love all our people liking our show. Make sure you follow us on Facebook. Follow us. Check us out also on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Again, if you didn't, pretty much the only thing going on in the world of sports right now is NASCAR and the Travelers Championship up in Connecticut, and some good golf going on. These guys are tearing up the golf course yesterday at 10 under par. Mackenzie Hughes shoots, the Canadian, shot 60. 50, he almost shot 59, which is the number to shoot in golf. And then Victor Hovland, the Norwegian, and Xander Schauffele and Roy McIlroy, all 3 shots back. So enjoy your weekend, watching golf, doing whatever you're going to do. But that's going to be a wrap for today's show, folks. Make sure, again, follow us, like us, check us out on all the other apps that you can watch our show. Thank our sponsors. If you're in the area, go by. If there's a restaurant, go get you some food. But thank our sponsors as well. And I want to thank our sponsors also. But you've been watching and listening to Pot Up with Matthews in the Morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios. Have a great week, folks. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.